What's up, guys? I'm at SHOT Show, and of course I had to stop by the Condor booth because they always have cool stuff.
I'm Joe Flowers, one of the main designers for Condor Tool and Knife. I also design for Tops Knives, and I own a company where I take people down to the jungle called Bushcraft Global, knife-based survival adventure stuff. But my main love is designing knives, and Condor helps me with that. So we got a ton of new stuff this year.
Nice.
2019 got like 33 new designs. I'll show you some of my designs and maybe some of the other ones because we have so many. It's like it's hard to remember.
It'd be like 2 hours of talking.
Yeah,
if you got them all.
I'd be like spitting, and I probably will be anyway. But like, I have no more voice left. All right, so we got this cool thing here. I'm gonna see if I can grab it without destroying it.
Oh wow.
I'm really big into like reptiles and amphibians, so sometimes I'll have that theme on this. So this is a Vipera. It's named after a genus of venomous snakes that is indigenous to Europe. And the Vipera machete is designed by me, but the engineers over at Condor were able to think up this really cool laser etch. But anyway, that's not really for sale. It's the knife, it's the blade that's for sale. It's an 1/8 of an inch thick. 1075. Somebody's screaming.
I was just gonna say somebody's screaming bloody murder over there.
Yeah, dude, they like maybe one of the knife stands that fell on.
Somebody just cut their finger. Look.
Oh, I bet you it's EJ Snyder. I bet you that's who it is. So anyway, I hope the camera's picking that up because that's really distracting. We've got this snake style stamp on there. This is a snake scale burn on there. This actually comes from a knife called the Aatrox, which is another
cool.
scientific name, Bothrops Aatrox, which is the fertile ants. So that's new this year for 2019. We'll buzz on through here and show you some other cool stuff. We had a knife called the Bush Lore that's really popular. The Bush Lore was one of our best sellers, and we learned how to do some really cool embellishments. So we came out with the Cave Lore. This is 1095 carbon steel for the Cave Lore. It's got a burnt hickory handle. The rivets are underneath this braided brass, and on the bottom, you can see we have a recessed lanyard. The Cave Lord is kind of like if this guy went back into time and was flint napped by Ugg. So this is Ugg's knife. This is Mixflip's knife. So this is Mixflip if he was a troglodyte. There's a term for you. But anyway, that's 1075. This is our new steel 1095 that we're working with. We're pretty comfortable with.
So, a quick question.
Yeah.
How did they get that in? Is that stamped in there, hammered in there?
We had to go back in time and get an actual. No, we actually have 2 huge stamps that hit it while it's hot and put it on there.
I didn't know if there was a guy with a hammer just banging.
No, you know, there's a couple of different ways to get that flint look though. At home, if you have a belt sander, you can take your belt sander and go bzz, 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 and you can put that on yourself, but it'll take forever.
Use an angle grinder, you'll get there faster.
Yeah, use an angle grinder. Just don't go in too deep. And when you're doing that, I'm a crazy Frankensteiner of my blades, right? So when you're using an angle grinder, every time you pass through, put it in cold water, and then that'll keep the temper.
Oh, nice.
You can also have an ice cold towel that you can put on top of it, but that's if you're going to be modifying stuff to your needs. And I actually think
it's a pro tip right there, guys.
Yeah, just in case. I mean, I never was a good knife maker. I was just a good knife messer-upper. So
professional destructor.
Yeah, professional modification devices. So we have this guy who's going to be really popular. We came out with it in 2018, but we couldn't get the handle correctly. So we couldn't get the sheath correct. So we redid the sheath and are re-releasing it. This is a pterosaur.
I was going to say, what is that sheath, by the way?
Polypropylene.
Oh, okay.
It's a special injected molded sheath. It took us forever to get it. But the problem with the other sheath was every time I'd pull out the knife, let me see if I can do this. We fixed this problem, so now it's hard to replicate.
Yeah.
Here we go. Every time I pull out the knife, whoop, and we're like, okay, we need to make this one-handed. So we've got the retention pretty much down to be pretty easy. These are still the prototypes, so we did them pretty hard. But now it comes out really easily. 1095. It's just a hidden tang. We got lots of metal underneath there all the way to the end. $50 MSRP. The name is the pterosaur.
Thank you, by the way, for putting the prices in there.
Yeah.
If you know I'm throwing them in there because I know guys are going to ask.
Yeah, and like I said, we got like over 30 new designs.
Yeah.
So like
even if it's just a ballpark price, I don't care.
MSRP. I know this one because that's what I'm most excited about. $50 MSRP.
Awesome.
So it's like the $45, $40 street price.
So would you say that's like?
colors.
Would you say that's like a kind of like where most new guys into bushcraft should get
Oh my
into?
God, yeah, buy this one. This is the bet. That's narcissistic sounding, but like if I was getting into bushcraft, this is the knife to get. You lose it, you're not going to care. You want the other colors, you can grab it in green, you can grab it in black,
nice.
and it's not going. You can go, oh man, all right. So I paid $45 for this knife. What would be the next knife to go up in a spec? This is a the Ripper by Julio Diaz, designed by him. This would be like a step up. This is ballpark of around $100. Comes with the Kydex sheath. A little bit higher in price for the quality of the material. Same steel though, same idea. Same steel, 1095 carbon steel, same grind, the Scandinavian grind, but a little bit better handle materials. Honestly though, you'd have to use like a sledgehammer to get this off. This stuff is really hardcore.
What is it, like automotive adhesive or something? Or?
No, it's heat ejected polypropylene. Yeah, it's magic unicorn snot. Yeah, it's JB Weld.
Yeah.
I've made a JB Weld handle before. The funny part about that,
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I'm gonna make this ergonomic. Put a whole bunch of JB Weld on it. Yeah, it's the ugliest thing in the world. I look like a turd on a handle. But I digress. This Survival Poco is new. This is going to have about $100 MSRP.
Nice.
It's got a smashing pommel on the back that's kind of angled to be able to hit harder in both directions. It's a paper linen handle, micarta style like handle, one of those type of phenolics. 1095 high carbon steel, pretty classy bow and tucks look there. We got a bow on, we got our tie on.
Nice.
We didn't put a cummerbund on it. It comes with the leather sheath though.
It almost looks like a boutique knife.
Yeah, it's a Poco. The Pocos are a Swedish style, very useful knife.
Yeah.
Big, large Scandinavian grind on there. So we're pretty excited about this as well. Another designer came out with a design. This is something that I designed. The pocket pike. Pike is like a spear, and this is based off of some research I did on Pacific Northwest indigenous and the type of tribes that were out there would have a very distinct style of spear to get those large Arctic char and salmon that are out there. And I thought, man, there's probably something to that considering they do it and we don't. So I redesigned a spearhead to go on top of that. And then out in the middle of Central America, they were like, Joe, we need to go test these spearheads. I'm like, great, that sounds like a good idea, let's go. So we go to a tilapia farm, and they bring me to this creek on the side of the tilapia farm, and I'm out there with my shorts jacked up like a clam digger, throwing these spears, and I can throw pretty okay. Yeah. And I missed a bunch of times, but after I hit one, it flailed like crazy. But the important part was the barbs were deep enough to keep the retention while the animal was flailing around. It was a tilapia, but while the animal was flailing around, and then we had delicious tilapia steaks later on that night.
Nice.
So we were able to approve these. I spear a lot down in the Amazon jungle on my bushcraft global trips, and it was something that we could attach on to the really, really straight saplings out there. Plus, it's a fire steel scraper.
Can you lay one on my hand, sir?
Yeah,
see if
sure.
I can get a good shot of it.
Oh, cool. You've been doing lots of knifey stuff. I see the Band-Aid.
I actually believe it or not, I got that from a gun.
Oh, wow. Did
yeah,
it
I got
pinch you?
cut by a gun.
Oh, man. That's not the holy part of the gun cutter. This is a HURON knife. This is new for 2019. We have a smaller brother that came out earlier, but a couple guys were like, man, I sure love my HURON. I'd like to see it in a 5-inch version. So we made the 5-inch version. You can see how it feels in the hand there. This is a 5-inch blade. Pretty cool design, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I designed it, so that's bias. This year, we should talk about something I didn't design.
Is that brass? What is that?
Yeah, it's braided brass.
Braided brass. Okay,
yes,
awesome.
Braided brass. So, all right. So the deal is with the braided brass stuff, and I've done it a lot on a lot of my different designs. Here's an Otzi from last year, one of our best sellers with the braided brass. The Dooku machete up there has it. If people are getting tired of the braided brass, I'm going to start moving away from that in my designs just because I've done it a lot and I don't want to be like,
leave a comment below if you like the brass. Let us know in the comments.
It's recessed, so it doesn't really it doesn't give you blisters in your hand. I've tested the snot out of this, I promise you.
What is that inspired by? Is there something that
That's
gave you?
where we're getting into that.
Oh, okay.
So Imakasa is the parent company of Condor, and they had these braided wrapped machetes way back in the day, and that stems actually from an American machete, Collins tool knife, way back in Connecticut in the early I believe the 1920s all the way to 1960s, and they had this special braided wrap all along their machetes. The indigenous of the Amazon basin loved the look. They thought it gave a lot of machismo and made the guys look really, really tough. And so they traded the snot out of those things.
Nice.
So that became a distinct style in the machete world, in the world of machetes. Even Tramontina still does it. A couple of other companies do it, but we had the capability. And I was sitting there going, those look cool on knives.
Yeah, it does look cool. I like it.
Yeah, I think it looks neat. Now, if you can imagine that braided wrap going all the way up and down the handle, that's how those machetes were. I tried that. I like it. You might see it at some point, but I don't know. I just like the stripes. So I thought it gave it like a little look. If not, you know, that could be a pretty boring knife. So the embellishments, you know, kind of get up there.
On the practical side, you're never going to get this wood off.
No,
because it's wrapped like crazy. With,
and it's really easy to clean. We have it coated with the special stuff, so if you had like fish guts and stuff on it, just use a toothbrush and get it out, and it just comes right out. It's not like a embedded thing, but that's the story of the wire wrap and how that works. And you might see that on some other designer stuff too. It's just a cool thing that they were able to do. This CX is kind of like a Viking style blade. This is a CX knife.
What's the name of this shape of blade?
A CX.
Oh, that is the name of the blade.
Yeah.
I was thinking sheep's foot for some reason.
No, well, it's closer to sheep's foot. Honestly, you could call it a Wharncliffe too.
Oh, Wharncliffe,
if you wanted to. That roundy shape. This direct angle is very, very reminiscent of a Viking style sword.
Okay.
So that's where the CX name comes from. So I don't know if I'd call that a CX point. Honestly, it's a point swept down, so you might call it a Wharncliffe or a sheep's foot. Sheep's foot is called that way because if you cut it off at a cross section, it looks like the foot of a sheep. So that's where that name comes from. But it has some really cool embellishments.
I like that leather sheath.
Yeah. That's how that looks. We got
a humongous bushcraft knife.
Yeah, it is. And you can, you know, the point down is still very, very useful. You can still pick a splinter out. You can still pick your nose with it. But this flat surface is very intuitive. So planing something like making a bow, you can do that very, very easily on this. It's a pretty cool design for 2019 that came out.
Ballpark price on that, do you know?
Around $85.
Okay.
I believe. Now this one's kind of interesting too, because the blade goes all the way to the back, and we call that a hidden tang.
Nice.
This thing is big and hatchety. This is a blackout axe, blackout tomahawk, although it's more like an axe. It's like two hands.
Looks like a multi-tool as well, huh?
Yeah. Honestly, it is a multi-tool. You can use it for all sorts of choppy, pointy things. So this is the holdy part of the multi-tool. This is the cutty part. No, I'm just kidding. This is black paper linen, phenolic. It's like a micarta. Like I said earlier, it comes all the way up the blade. It has a prying. We put two pieces of steel here, weld them together, and make this so that it's able to pry with the
I like it already.
Yeah, it's very, very pryable. And you can see some of the rivets that we rivet it with. So we do a combination rivet prying thing there. It's full tang, of course. It's a tomahawk. Coming all the way up to the top. We have a welded hammer pommel on the back. This ingenious design was done by Tony Lenartz. He has a hex head here that can do various styles of hex nuts, and a gas tube, so a gas key for different types of gas openings and things along that line.
Shut off your gas at the house.
Right, like a fireman's hack. They need to shut off the propane when your house is on fire. Pro tip. So that, and it's got a long beard, so you're still able to grab it and use it for light work too. Yet it still chops. It's a pretty cool entry tool. It comes with a Kydex sheath.
How much is something like that?
This guy is going for about $250, $300.
Oh, did we talk about what it's made out of again?
Yes, it's made out of metal. No, just kidding. It's made out of metal, and that's the cutty part. Sorry, it's been a long shot show. No, 1075 high carbon steel.
Gotcha.
And it has a little bit of a differential heat treat on it to make it way tougher. So it's not just the metal; it's the way the metal's been heat treated for this particular tool. It is a work of art and a very functional work of art too.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, so this is really, really different for something that we've done before. This is a definite tactical style, pry open a car.
I'm just gonna say like urban survival. You know?
Yeah. You need to get into that dumpster to dive. This will do
That's
it.
the one right there.
So we have a whole lot of other new offerings for 2019. If you go to condortk.com, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all the social things, you can find that here at Condor Tool and Knife. You can also subscribe to us on Instagram. We have a lot of followers, so check that out. If you want to find more about the jungle trips, Bushcraft Global on YouTube, Instagram.
I'll put links below the video.
Yeah. I have a website, but it sucks because I'm outside playing a lot. Make sure you go to Mixflip's YouTube stuff and just
smash
hit that like, and smash that subscription button and check out his other SHOT Show videos that are coming up here.
There you go. Thanks a lot,
I'm
man.
Joe Flowers, and thanks for watching.
Cool. Thanks, man.
There you go, guys. I think that was a pretty epic booth interview with some awesome blades at SHOT Show. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks a lot.